Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be talking about how Deontay Wilder was robbed and not Tyson Fury. So Deontay Wilder was the fighter who was robbed of a decision, not Tyson Fury. So the narrative is that Tyson Fury boxed Deontay Wilder's head off, and then Deontay Wilder got like two knockdowns late. He got one in the ninth and got one in the 12th. So he only won 2 rounds. But outside of that, he looked like he shouldn't have been in there with Tyson Fury at all. And Tyson Fury was just doing so much work to him and making him look like an amateur, and it was his dogging him. And it should have been went to Fury despite him getting dropped twice, despite this, despite that. Fury should have won. The judges made a bad mistake. Robbery, boxing's corrupt. But in reality, I don't think it's either of those. So basically what I'm saying right here, this video's title is clickbait, but it's the topic and what I'm discussing in the video is very real. I don't think it was a robbery either way. A split draw is like reasonable given how the fight played out. They showed the stats after the fight showing like how inaccurate or inaccurate Wilder was and how Fury did this and how Fury did that. But they didn't really show all the stats, and they don't usually show all the stats. But in this case, the stats, like, you gotta show all the stats in a fight that of this magnitude to really understand the full picture. You look at the stat, oh, Fury was a much cleaner boxer. Yes, he's a better boxer. Going into the fight, we knew this. He was a cleaner boxer. He's a more technical boxer. But Wilder is just Wilder. He's orthodox, but he's unorthodox. He has that power, that unnatural power, and he just can knock anybody out. That's what he does. So if Fury was going to win, it would be by decision. If Wilder would win, it would be by KO. So we knew this coming in, and it pretty much showed out in the fight, except Wilder got his knockdowns, but Fury survived. Fury was a better boxer, but he got knocked down. So he lost some points, and he didn't win these rounds by as large of a margin as he needed to win them by for him to shut Wilder out of a decision. So Wilder already had, well, at least you look in hindsight, Wilder already has 2 rounds. He gets 2 knockdowns. He only needs about 3 more rounds. And a lot of these rounds were only won by, or at least edged on the total strikes by, or total punches landed by like 1 strike, 2 strikes. So we got these close rounds, and Wilder's punches are heavier. It like kind of comes down to, was it like, do you favor Fury's accuracy and his like workmanship, his boxing skills, or do you favor Wilder's aggression and his power? Yes, Wilder's missing, but how many times was Fury making him pay for missing? He had all those punches missed, but you only made him pay about 4 times in the whole fight. Over 12 rounds, you probably made him pay about 4 times for missing these shots. So if you really want, like, say, like, put that in his favor, you could like say, oh, equate Fury making Wilder miss to a points for Fury, but the only points if you're making him pay for it. That's like somebody missing all these shots, but you're not going, like, taking the shot back and then make it scoring. You just catching the rebound and not scoring on the other end is like pointless. It looks good on the stat wise, but didn't really make them pay. Like I said, these rounds were only won by 1 and 2 points. I think out of Fury's rounds, only 2 of them he had 2 big rounds, like as far as like statistical wise. He had the 3rd round and he had the 10th round. The 3rd round, he was able to outland Wilder. It was about like 11 strikes to 3 or something. It was like some crazy stat, like 11 to 4. So that was a big round. And then it was the 10th round after Wilder knocked Fury down in the 9th. He was kind of trying to recover his energy, trying to recover that power, trying to get that pop back. So Fury was able to take advantage of that. But did he take full advantage of that? He outlanded him by a good clip. But did he really hurt him in that round? Did he really do anything? He landed some good shots. That really was his best round statistically. And like outside of that, the rounds were like Fury won by 1 round. Fury won by that round. Then on Wilder's end, he won a couple rounds, but he won 2 of them very big. And those are the only rounds you really cannot debate because he got clear knockdowns. You can't debate it. He got knocked on his Fury got knocked on his butt, clear and clean. Got knocked on his back and his butt. In the 9th round, got knocked on his butt. In the 12th round, he got cleaned out, knocked on his back, head bounced off the canvas. So it's like Wilder has the rounds you can't debate, but Fury was the better technician. I would say he was the better boxer. And like I said, these rounds were only won outside of those rounds, and maybe the 3rd, with the 3rd and the 10th for Fury, and the 9th and 12th for Wilder. Those are really the only rounds you really can't debate. The other rounds are real close, so it's like they could go either way. And like I said, you got Wilder who has the power, you got Fury who has the boxing, and the Fury, even though he was a better boxer, only winning by 1 shot. So you kind of say, do you favor Fury's accuracy and his boxing, or do you favor Wilder's aggression and his power? So like I said, a lot of times Fury will let Wilder just walk him down a lot of times, and let him make him cover up. He might not be landing. It looks like he's controlling the fight. He got you covering him, got you ducking, got you trying to dip, and he's trying to hit you with hooks as you're trying to dip down. It's not like you're like rolling with his punches, then countering him, not like you're leaning back and catching him. He's coming in like I said, it's very few times that Fury actually made him pay. Yes, he's making him miss, but is he making him pay? You don't get points for making somebody miss. There's no stat to say, oh, you're making him miss, you're getting points. Every time he misses, that's like 0.5 points or 0.25 or 0.007 points. You get no points for making nobody miss. You get points for making them pay. And Fury really rarely ever made Wilder pay in the fight. So like I said, these rounds were close. And like I said, Wilder got 2 knockdowns. So he only needed 3 rounds. In 1 round, he won statistically. Then the rest of the rounds were close. So to say that, oh, it's some great robbery, it wasn't. I seen way greater robberies in the history of combat sports. And another thing, I seen like on a pretty much like a event to event basis, you rarely ever see a perfect scorecard. You can see like the most one-sided fight ever, and they will still give somebody a round. I mean, give the opponent a round or two. Cause like how many times do you see a opponent, like a fighter, get a 120 on a scorecard, like a perfect 12 out of 12 rounds or a perfect 10 or whatever they say. Like I'm gonna say perfect 12 out of 12. It can be the most dominating fight you ever seen in your life, but you rarely will ever see a 120 on a scorecard for a 12 round fight. It just doesn't happen. They just always seem like, at least with boxing, they always seem to give somebody a round. So, and even with that, Wilder kept it close. It's not like Wilder ever got dominated. Fury was doing a very good job at boxing, but he was never really making Wilder pay too much. Like at times he did, but it was here and there. About 4 times in the whole fight he really made Wilder pay. And even then, he didn't really make him pay too much. Because he might land a couple shots, then he wouldn't like really follow up on that. He would let Wilder get off, and he wouldn't like make it, like, he wouldn't follow through on that stuff. He might catch him, make Wilder back off, but he would never really go on and fully go on attack and really do stuff. But like he barely did that in the fight. And that's how that's when you ice the rounds. Like you put the stamp on the round. You got to make stuff happen. You don't just be winning rounds by 1 point, expecting the judges to just give you that round. Because they're not saying everything you're saying in the fight. So you got to make it sure they see stuff. You got to make sure you know those certain strikes that the judge is going to fully attend to. Like, yeah, I saw that. Like, I saw an impact on it. And like it's not like Fury puts the most impact on his punches. Like, he really digs in with his shots. He's kind of a floaty type of dude. So his punches don't always dig enough to get that full impact that makes it like, gives the judges the full, like, the full, I don't know, I'm saying like the full look, I guess you could say. Like, they hear the sound, they see it, it looks clean, and like, that's a clear land. So he doesn't really get him too many of those shots. Like, a person who does that very well is made that way. Was like, he always does that jab to the body. He steps in hard with that jab to the body, so everybody hears that he might come over the top. Then once he gets you looking for the jab, he comes with a straight. So Mayweather's very good at scoring those type of punches that make the judges look, make the judges can't even like ignore those punches. Like, whereas Fury, a lot of his punches, like, kind of, even though he landed, even though he looks smooth, it's like he doesn't have that, give that extra impact for the score. He doesn't know how to play to the judges fully, but he's a good boxer. Most times he's outboxing people by such a large margin, it doesn't even matter that he's even landing those impactful shots. But in this fight, it was different. He didn't really outland Wilder by that much. Wilder's supposed to be the puncher. He's supposed to be so sloppy and missing so much, but over 12 rounds, you pretty much averaged to about outland him by 1 punch. So Wilder missed so much, but he basically landed just as many punches as you. He's supposed to be the boxer, but he landed only, like 6 or 7 less jabs than you over 12 rounds. It's supposed to be much more than that. He's a puncher and you're the boxer. You're supposed to be outlanding him by much more than that. He's supposed to be so sloppy. You're supposed to be making him pay. And Fury failed to do that. I think Wilder, he failed to fully, he didn't get the finish. That's what he was supposed to go on for. I guess he did his best he could do. He didn't get the finish, but he still could have did a little bit better in some rounds. He could have fought a little bit smarter. Like I said, they both didn't do what needed to be done to fully stamp these rounds. Well, I guess Wilder did what he could fully do in that 9th and 12th round because he dropped him. That's what more can you ask him? He caught him clean, set him down. He did what he was supposed to do. He was going for the knockout. But a lot of these rounds, like, they were too close. And Wilder, in my opinion, took some rounds off. In my opinion, Fury, like, I don't think Fury necessarily took any rounds off. I said maybe the first, in my opinion, till the end. But like I said, nobody really stamped any of these rounds outside of maybe Wilder's 9th and 12th. It was like none of these rounds were really, really stamped. Like, as far as themselves actually stamping the round, like, they're really stamping these rounds. Like, not like, say, like with the 10th round where Wilder just kind of his arm filled with lactic acid and he taking off. Was that really Fury's work? That was Wilder tiring himself out, going wild for the finish. That wasn't really a result of what Fury did. That was a result of Wilder overextending himself in the 9th round, trying to finish Fury. And then Fury took advantage of that attempt. So it was like I said, Fury never really stamped the rounds. Wilder got those big rounds, but in between, these rounds were very close and nobody truly stamping these rounds. It's like, you can't really say winning by one punch a round is stamping anything. Your technique was cleaner, but you weren't making them pay. And that's just about as simple as it goes. You got to fully stamp these rounds. You can't say some robbery or anything when you're only winning by an average of one punch per round over the course of a 12-round fight. But that's really all I got to say for this video. The proof is in the pudding. You could check the proof is in the stats. You know, the stats might, like when they do the round by round and all the totals of the stats, they say, oh, Fury accuracy was about 30%, whereas Wilder was about 15%, and this and that, but they didn't put the knockdowns on there, but they usually don't. But if they put the knockdowns on there, like you try to act like this is over a course of a whole fight instead of round by round, then put the two knockdowns on it, and then Fury lost, you want to do by the whole total fight. But in reality, boxing is a round by round thing, and it wasn't like those stats. And really only averages to Fury outlanding Wilder by a one punch per round, which is not a lot. It's definitely not enough to say somebody was put on such a master class of boxing. But again, good boxing from Fury. Great fight. Some emphatic knockdowns by Wilder. But again, it was one of those fights where nobody truly stamped the fight in their favor to say, oh, there's no way you could take it from this guy or no way you could take it from that guy. Wilder gave up a lot of rounds. Fury gave up some knockdowns, and the rounds were close. And so that's really all I got to say now. So thanks for watching. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Debate with me. Give your opinions. Let's have a dialogue. But that concludes this video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And come back for more videos. Peace.